Hey, happy Tuesday, the 23rd. Hey, I wanted to touch base on something. I've had a couple of people now ask me, Joel, what's your why? And this brings me back to Del Wright. One of the questions that you had was, again, I brought this up the other night, but I wanted to expand a little bit. You had mentioned you're not sure why people go on carnivore to lose weight because a 16-8, meaning the intermittent fast, 16-8, 8 hours of eating, 16 hours fast. It seems good, it seems safe, and it's worked for you, and it has worked for several others. It has worked for me years ago. I think it depends on people's age, but something tells me, Del, that a lot of people will jump in to use keto or carnivore. I want to lose some weight, but they don't really want to share what else is going on. And it could be eczema or some type of a rash, some type of psoriasis, autoimmune disorder. It could be something else, a little bit deeper. And they're going to kind of reserve that to see if they start to lose weight. And most importantly, if the carnivore does everything else that people say it does. Hey, I feel great. I sleep better. My back doesn't hurt. The inflammation's lowered. All of these things. So I don't know. I did not start carnivore because I was morbidly obese. That's not why. I always thought that just eating smaller meals, 2, 3, 4 a day, that was my only way out, right? So my why was that my mom had cancer. She was diagnosed with cancer in 9 of 2019. And she had not one, not two, but 3 types of cancer. So she got the trifecta. And at 69 years old, that was tough for our family because no one in our family, literally her parents passed away at 90 and 97. And that was her mom was at 90 and her dad was at 96 or 97. And then her father's mother, her grandmother, Marie, she was with us until it's like 102 or 103. I have it written down, but yeah, 103 years old. And then mom, was diagnosed with cancer at 69 years old. Now, the 3 types that she had was clear cell ovarian cancer. That was the tough one. And then stage 4 endometrial cancer, and then the beginning of colon cancer. So in 2019, she started chemo in early 2020. And then after a few rounds of that, they opened her up, removed her reproductive system, made sure that that initial big burst of chemo took care of most everything, which apparently it did. And then they did a few more rounds of chemo just to make sure. Anything small and hidden, was killed off. And then mom was in remission for about a year. Then it started to come back. Her markers started to come up. And so the doctor said, this is clear cell and it's attaching to your lymph nodes and Lord knows what else. It was in the early stages. He said, let's try Keytruda. It's the only thing we have for the 2% of people that have your type of cancer. So mom went on Keytruda, immunotherapy. So rather than several hours hooked up to a machine in chemo, she did a 1-hour session once a month, if I recall, and much less invasive. She didn't lose her hair or anything like that. And it worked for several months until it didn't. And so during this time, I saw more and more things about keto, specifically at that time, and, reduction in cancer cells. And I want to share 2 books with you. One Dr. Annette Bosworth, right here. To me, she's an angel. I mean, this is what I leaned on at the early stages in 2021, 2022, in that time. And she's written 2 books. And the first one was Any Way You Can. And it was her own mother that had cancer. And she was weak and frail and everything was going south. And Dr. Bosworth knew that. She goes, I have to be able to fix this. Let's try diet, nutrition, etc. So she tried keto and removed carbs or reduced carbs greatly and really focused on daily balance, and she started to improve. And the book is so detailed. The book is a beautiful story of how her mother's fight for life and how Annette Bosworth really helped in that on the keto journey. And then the second book that she wrote, so that was really key to me, right? I said, I need to jump on this. And then the second book was called Keto Continuum. I'll put that up here as well. And that was almost more related to me because it was a story of a man named David. Again, kind of a story throughout the whole book, right? And it's all these metrics and measurements. And she followed along and helped this person. Names were changed, but essentially what happened was he was an amazing gifted photographer, had taken photos of some of the most, elite profiles, elite people in the world, apparently. And he had a knack for simply capturing people's emotions in a photo. That's a gift. And you've seen photos like that, right? You can tell it. They're powerful photos. And then some, it's just like, just take a photo. So that story really intrigued me because my dad is a great photographer. And so I read more. And I found out that this gentleman, David, was in his late 50s and he was struggling a lot and a lot of, binging habits and snacking habits. And oh man, that sounds like me. So I truly thought this was a gift. I really did. So any way you can about, Annette Bosworth's mother went through that cancer and then she went into remission and was doing great. And then David in Keto Continuum, which is a deeper dive into insulin resistance and so many other things, what happens. And then how your food goes through your whole system and how fat works and sugar and carbs and this and proteins. It's amazing. I can't even repeat a small portion because I would do that book a disservice. And all I can say is I've been through the book via audiobook. I've listened to it and I think it's like 13 hours to go through the whole thing. So this book here also has a workbook with it. So you can get both and you can write all your own, journey within the Keto Continuum workbook. So Dr. Annette Bosworth is amazing. And I was watching tons of her videos. And then one day, that is my third book, is when I found Judy Cho with Carnivore Cure, right? And so that's when it was an elimination diet. And I think that's what people are really doing. I know they say weight loss too, but I really think it's an elimination diet. Let's get down to the least amount of inflammation, but yet get the most nutrient-packed bite, right? And hence animal protein, ruminant animals. And little salt, little water, and in many cases, butter, things like that, beef tallow. And it's just an amazing book, and I know I've bragged about this so much, but I can't tell you enough. Just those 3 books and those 2 authors really turned a lot around for me. And then my mom, unfortunately, passed away. She was diagnosed finally with terminal cancer, kind of September, October of 2023. And then she lost her life on November 17th, 2023, right before the holidays. And so I just have this in my entire system, my body. I'm passionate about it, that I want to help myself, and so I can set an example for others to have a healthy, fit lifestyle. I never want anyone to go through what my mom went through. Now, I get it. Cancer is tons of different forms. But my mom also, I will be honest, she had a lot of poor eating habits. She loved sugar. She loved sweet tea. And she might drink a bottle or 2 a day. So that's a lot of sugar right there, right? And then she loved little cupcakes and all that. And I would go over there. I'd visit with my parents. And I'm a family guy. I love spending time with my parents, my sister and her family too. But I would ask my mom, Mom, why are you eating that? You've gone through cancer and you know the sugar feeds cancer. And she looked at me and I cried when I got home the first time I saw this. And she goes, but it makes me happy. She knew her time was limited, but it made her happy. She associated that pleasure, that joy, with that sweet tooth of hers. And I can't blame her for that. I get it. I grew up that way, you know? I grew up when I was in elementary school, and we didn't know any better. I had the Frosted Flakes, the honeycomb, the Tricks, the Fruity Pebbles, all that stuff, all the crap in a box, right? I had that in a bowl, and then I had 2% milk because I was watching my weight. Anyway, and then I put sugar on top of that. I'm not even kidding. I like it sweet, Mom. Oh, sure, let's get some sugar on there. Then, wait for it. Oh, I'm just getting started. Then I would have 2 brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts. Were those even natural? I have no idea. I would have 2 of those. And then I'm kind of hungry for some toast. I just want 1 piece of toast because I got to cut back. What? So then I had a glass of milk, and sometimes, if I was a little bit hungry, I would have a small glass of orange juice. Can you imagine the videos that you see nowadays with people, you know, shaming people? You come out of Starbucks with a Frappuccino, a 20-ounce Frappuccino. And, hey, my God, you know how much sugar's in that? Dude, when I was in elementary school, I was eating 4 times that amount of sugar. And you know what? Praise God, I survived. Not that it didn't do damage along the way. Again, I was supposed to be 6'4" and have a full head of hair. Now I'm only 5'8". I'm just blaming it on the sugar. Anyway, but I don't know. It's one of those things where we didn't know any better, and we were raised like that. In an earlier video, if you look back, it was actually called The Raw Truth. And it's my part 2, The Raw Truth. It's about 20 minutes. And I was out in a park and I shared a portion of this story, more about me being morbidly obese, 322 pounds or 321, whatever I was. But that's what I was in that picture. Right now I'm in the upper 270s, I would guess. I haven't weighed myself yet, but I will. But I started this journey in January at 282. So, it's one of those things where we just didn't realize what we were doing back in the 70s and 80s. And gee, in the 80s, what else came out? Statins. You got cholesterol. We better bring that down. But yet, cholesterol was fine for years. There's so many untruths or twisted truths, I will say. I won't even say people are lying. I'll just say it's twisted truth. As the old saying goes, the American diet is called the standard American diet, or SAD diet, for a reason, right? Everybody is now on some type of statin, some type of weight loss, Ozempic for diabetes and all of these other things. I didn't want that for myself. And I wanted to set a good example for my 3 nephews and my sister and brother-in-law and dad. And I have friends that'll just chow down on whatever the heck they want. I love people. As I've shared before, I started this. I didn't even know I was going to do this channel. At the end of December, when Carnivore Kip said, hey, I need some support, I go, you know what? Dang it, I'm going to do it. And this is going to hold me accountable. And now it has just unfolded some wonderful new friendships. And I have all of you wonderful folks. You know why I love my cell phone? Because I got all my friends in it. Hey-oh! I know you're in there. That's it. That's my why. I think that's a strong statement, right? And if I lose weight along the way, excellent. But the key is I want to stay away from seed oils. I'm learning. And so on January 18th, I took dairy out of the diet. And so, here it is, Tuesday the 23rd. And yeah, I did have 20 just naked, air fried chicken wings. So that was 20. But hey, it works. And you have to do what works for you. Was it the perfect fat ratio? Probably not. But we'll see. Tomorrow I'll have steak. And then maybe the next night it'll be a hamburger and steak or bacon. But I'm trying to stick with a pure animal protein now. So that was my why. I tried to keep this within 20 minutes. We're at 15. So I just wanted to share that with you. I'm a family man. I love people. I always have. I grew up kind of a ham. I was a comedy magician at 11 years old through my 16th year. And so that 5 years, I did kids' birthday parties. I would do little shows for family, and then I would joke around with it too. And I had some great mentors that did a similar thing, and they taught me a lot. But I was my own personality. And I just love to see the light in people. If people are having a bummer day and they come out to a show, and I could see them even in the front row, sometimes they'd just be kind of sitting there solemn. Those are the people sometimes you call on. Sometimes they just didn't want to cooperate, but you try, right? You want to see their eyes light up when things happen, and they are part of it. That's what I want here. I want to see if just one person listened to my story, one person, right? And they could take some steps, along with a lot of other good information from physicians and nutritionists, which none of which I am, but I'm an example because it is working for me to a certain degree. And when I want to see their eyes light up, and it's when they say, you know what? I lost weight. I don't hurt anymore. Someone asked me out on a date and I want to go. You should. You should. You should enjoy your life. I've always had my life on the main stage, meaning I've been in sales for years. I'm an engineer at heart. I started with broadcast engineering, and now I design crazy cool audio video systems. But you know what? As much as I love that, and I've been doing it for over 35 years, I love this more in so many ways because it allows me to connect to so many people. And that gives me a happy heart, right? When I've moved on in life, people will replace what I've designed with something new, something different. But hopefully, I can leave my story and share my example and what brought light and life into my life. And it will work for them too. And they will go, Joel, I had my aha moment too. I get it. Thanks for the example. I love you guys. Truly. Have a great night before I bawl. Okay? Have a great night. And I will talk to you tomorrow, Wednesday, the 24th. Whew. God bless you. Have a great night. And make sure you just run after your dreams. Make it happen. Don't sit there and go, should I try this? If you're asking the question, you definitely should. Have a good night. Bye.